Hey everyone. In this video, I want to discuss how you can become comfortable with being vulnerable. So I'll be sharing some tips that will hopefully help you work on the things that typically hold people back from becoming vulnerable. These are some things that have stood out to me that I've noticed in other people who struggle with this issue. The first thing I've noticed is that they care way too much what others think of them. Second thing I've noticed is that they tend to fear being rejected, so they struggle with rejection. And then the third thing that I've noticed is that they often have low self-esteem. So these three things, in my opinion, are like the primary causes that prevent people from being vulnerable. So let's tackle each one and see what you can do to fix these common issues. All right, so let's tackle the first one, caring too much what other people think of you. This one is actually not all that difficult to deal with, even though it is something where you'll have to basically go against tons of years of conditioning of you giving way too much credence to what other people think of you. Something that actually helped me avoid this even at a rather young age was for whatever reason, adopted this mentality of really only caring what people thought of me if I actually looked up to them and admired them. And especially, of course, it goes without saying, respected them as a bare minimum. So if I don't respect someone, I'm not going to care what they think of me because I don't respect them, right? So their opinion isn't going to mean that much to me. And if I don't admire someone or look up to them, again, their opinion is going to hold less weight because I'm not trying to become like them. But if I admire someone and look up to them, that's probably someone who has qualities I would like to acquire for myself. So their opinion of me is going to hold a lot more weight because I simply look to them as someone I wish to be more like. So that could be something that could help you as well. Not letting random people's opinions of you get you down because you're not trying to be like them, right? You're not trying to be some random person who may not be doing all that much with their life, or they may not be doing things that you wish to do. I know this sounds kind of harsh, but it just helps you not care so much what other people think of you. But at the same time, of course, always be kind and respectful towards other people, even if you aren't that concerned with what they think of you. So that's one thing that may help here. But another is valuing your own opinion of yourself more. So many people don't do this, and it boggles my mind because you're going to be going through your entire life in your own company. You should care about what you think of yourself. You should value yourself more. You should almost look to yourself the way that you do your close friends. Like, you would hopefully have people in your life that you care about and maybe even that you look up to. That's like the ideal. If you have friends that you look up to, then you're going to be leveling up consistently when you're in their company. So why not take that same stance with yourself? Why not remind yourself what you bring to the table, what valuable qualities you have? Because we all have things that separate us from the crowd and make us a worthwhile person. So what are those things for you? Remind yourself of those things more, and when you find yourself caring way too much what other people think of you, yet again, tell yourself in your mind that you have these admirable qualities. Just keep reminding yourself of that, and it'll bring them to the forefront in your mind so you won't get so tripped up when other people dislike you or have other stupid opinions of you. So there you go. Those are some things that have worked for me with caring less about what other people think of me. Now on to the second thing, fearing rejection. This is an interesting one because it's incredibly common nowadays. I almost wager maybe we've been living too comfortable of lives if so many people struggle with rejection, but that's a topic for another video. But really, when you think about it, rejection isn't that bad of a thing. So many people place all this value on it, probably because of TV shows and movies that display rejection as being like this world-ending thing, it's usually like high school shows, right, where some guy goes up to a girl and asks her out and she says no, and he's now a fool to everyone who witnessed it. Well, one, that doesn't happen very often in real life, and two, who cares? This is what's made rejection a lot easier for me. The concept of only wanting to choose people who also choose you. And this applies to friends as well. It's not just like romantic interests and that's it. No, this applies to everyone in your life. So it'll help you deal with rejection across the board. You should want to surround yourself with people who actually care about you and like you and are therefore choosing you. people who want to include you in their lives. So if someone rejects you, what does that immediately tell you? They don't want you in their life. So rather than hearing that and getting bent out of shape and thinking, woe is me, you should be thinking, they're doing me a favor. This is someone who's telling me, I don't want you in my life. I'm never going to value you being in it. So yeah, they're saving you time. You don't want to spend your time and energy on people who aren't down for you. People aren't going to choose you. This did take me a while to really understand and employ in my own mentality, but it's helped me out so much now. Now if a woman rejects me, I'm like, oh well, it sucks because I liked her, but hey, I'm going to move on and go after women who actually choose me. Because otherwise it's like speaking to a brick wall. You're wasting your time and energy because you're never going to get reciprocation. It's a brick wall. So don't do that with people. If someone rejects you, yeah, it can hurt because you probably like them. That's okay. Not everyone's going to be down for you. Not everyone's going to like you. That's okay. It doesn't mean that you have no value. It doesn't mean that you're immediately below this person. No, you can be rejected by someone who doesn't bring as much to the table as you do. So don't let it get you bent out of shape, because there's so many factors involved that it just usually doesn't tell you all that much, besides the fact that this person in the here and now, in this moment, does not want to include you in their life. And that's okay. Just remind yourself, if they don't want you, you shouldn't want them either. So just take it as basically them saving you time and energy, because those are things that are very difficult to, well, time is something you can never get more of, and energy you don't want to spend it willy-nilly, because that's also something you only have a limited amount of. So if someone rejects you, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Just brush it off. Yes, it sucks. You can acknowledge that. You can feel those emotions surrounding it, but don't let them weigh you down. Don't focus on it more than you need to, and just remind yourself you still bring a lot to the table, and this person's doing you a favor. They're saying, hey, don't waste your time and energy on me because I'm not the right person to include in your life. There you go. And now for the last thing, low self-esteem. How do you work on this? Well, I used to have really low self-esteem in like middle school and even high school and even a little bit into like early college. So I know it worked for me, and it was actually this really cool kind of like a meditation practice I adopted back around the time I was like maybe 19 or 20. And it was this very short daily exercise I would do right in the morning usually, but you can also do this before going to bed or really at any time of the day that works for you, where you take about 5 to 10 minutes to just in your mind go over what makes you who you are. The whole reason behind this is to, well, one, reaffirm all those admirable qualities you have, kind of like what I was mentioning earlier in this video, but two, it helps you get to better know yourself. Because so often when people have a bad self-image, they have low self-esteem, it's because they don't know who they are. They never spend any time asking themselves, who am I? So that's exactly what you want to do with this 5 to 10 minute meditation. Ask yourself that question, who am I? And then be honest about it and start going down all your traits and qualities that make you who you are. All the good, maybe even some of the bad, but remember, you're not trying to use this as a practice to beat yourself down, so focus more so on the positive stuff. And don't lie to yourself either. This isn't like you gaslighting yourself. It's not that kind of exercise. You just want to be honest and focus on your positive qualities. All of us have them. Even if you've lied to yourself and told yourself you have nothing good about you, that is not true. That's that voice that you've conditioned. No, you haven't conditioned yourself. Society has conditioned you to have that voice, from maybe your parents not being supportive of you when you were younger, or childhood bullies, or teachers not being supportive of you, even society trying to tell you you're not good enough so you can buy certain products that are going to fix that issue. Yeah, there's a lot of conditioning from society and outside sources that tell us we aren't good enough, and then we start believing it over time. But that's not true, right? All of us have good qualities that make us who we are. So in this exercise, you want to reaffirm what those qualities are. Tell yourself what makes you a unique and good person. What makes you tantalizing to people when dating? What makes you attractive? Just go over all of those things and do this for 5 to 10 minutes every day. And I guarantee you, after a month, you will view yourself in a very different light. But again, this isn't an exercise to make you become arrogant either, so remain humble while doing this. You just want to have a better idea of what you bring to the table. You want to know yourself better. You know, people are often saying, like, know thyself. And that's true. The more you know yourself, it makes it easier to weather the storms of other people's opinions of you and their judgments and whatnot. It helps you have a higher self-image because you'll know what you bring to the table. And that, of course, will help you being vulnerable. So when you combine all of these qualities together, it provides the recipe for being comfortable with being vulnerable, because now you won't care so much what other people think of you, you won't fear rejection, and you'll have a higher self-image, you'll have more self-esteem, which will all combine for you being more comfortable with being vulnerable, because now you're not giving so much power to other people and letting their opinions and judgments of you make you shut off your authenticity and your honesty. I mean, there have been some times where I say ridiculous things to other people, or where I straight up will tell them some of my more kind of like things that were embarrassing for me, or some of my secrets and whatnot. And the funny thing is, I don't really care what other people think of me when I share those things. So it makes me more comfortable to do just that. It makes me more comfortable to be honest and authentic. Because I think if they judge me negatively for sharing this piece of information about myself, then they're immediately proving that there's someone I do not want in my life. That's huge. This is the way you want to be thinking, because so often we think if they judge me for sharing this vulnerable aspect of myself, then I have no self-worth and I'm going to feel horrible about myself and I'm going to go home and cry about it and it's going to be super embarrassing. No, stop thinking that way. Think, this person sucks. They aren't worth keeping in your life, because you really should surround yourself with people who make you feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable. And if your friends, your family members, or God forbid your significant other doesn't provide space for you to feel comfortable being vulnerable around them, do you really want to keep them in your life? Is that someone you want to have around you as you go on this journey, tackling all the crazy stuff that life can throw your way? I don't want people like that in my life, so I purposely do not choose friends like that. And I don't talk to family members who make me feel uncomfortable being vulnerable either. I purposely curate the people I keep in my life for this very reason. So make sure you do the same thing. If someone acts weird and can't handle your vulnerability, do not think that that's a bad thing about you. No, it's a bad thing about them. You shouldn't feel embarrassed or anything. Shouldn't be worried about them spreading the secret, because again, if they do that, they're a complete a-hole. You don't want them in your life. You want people you can trust with your secrets. So yeah, hopefully all these things combined will help you understand why it's okay to be vulnerable, and how being vulnerable will only ever guarantee, it'll only ever ensure that you're surrounded by the right people, because you don't want people who you can't be vulnerable around. They're just not that great. So there you go. I really do hope that this video has been helpful, because to me, being vulnerable is like one of the most important aspects of life. It's how we're able to connect more deeply with others. It's why I make these videos and hopefully help a lot of you, because I don't really feel bad about sharing things about myself, like the fact that I dealt with emotional bullying when I was younger and whatnot, and the fact that my height used to be something I was deeply insecure about because I was not tall by any means, and that also helped with those people bullying me and whatnot. I don't care. Like, if anybody judges me for those things, I don't care. It doesn't matter. They're proving that there's someone whose opinion I should not care about, because they haven't worked on themselves enough for their opinion to be valuable in my eyes. So yeah, hopefully you guys understand everything I've been driving at in this video, and hopefully it has been helpful. But definitely let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you have other tips you believe would be helpful for people, and I look forward to seeing your comments. But that's all I have for you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci!